Hey kids, welcome back to the Compendium of Discomfort. My name is Michael and like we did in the last video, we're going back in time to January where I watched some movies by Koichi Sakamoto, and after we did that, mostly some random tokusatsu stuff. But when we come back, we will talk about this, his new movie, Tatsujin Warriors. So if you don't care about the other stuff, check down there, skip. But I talk about himself a little bit there, so maybe it's worth a try. But yeah, if you don't care, just check this one. This is really good. And yeah. Hi! Welcome to the Japanuary 2025. This is the Compendium of Discomfort. My name is Michael. Herzlich willkommen. Welcome, I guess, in English. It's Japanuary. It's a season to watch Japanese movies or other stuff or whatever. That's what I usually do anyway, but why not add a hashtag? Maybe someone was actually looking for content for the stuff for the Japanuary, and we'll find out about this channel or whatever. So why not add a hashtag in Japanuary? And you should celebrate it as well, like every year. I explained what Japanuary is in the last video, maybe in a different one, because I'm not sure. I'm gonna record this in this order, but if I release it in this order, who knows? I already talked in the German podcast about some movies by Koichi Sakamoto, who is one of my most watched directors of last year. And yeah, I will get to a best of 2024 video as well, but that needs a little bit more preparation that I haven't done yet. He is a quite interesting director and stunt actor and producer and whatever he does. And I think he started out in America working on the Power Rangers, made some English language movies like Broken Path or Extreme Heist or Devin's Ghost, who barely anyone has ever seen. And yeah, someday he went back to Japan, just doing a lot of tokusatsu movies and shows, so basically the same as Power Rangers. If you don't know what tokusatsu is, it's like special effects movies and shows, so technically stuff like Godzilla or Tetsu is part of the whole conversation, but most people talk about what is it called, a hero henshin, so like heroes who change and yeah, wear costumes and stuff like the Power Rangers. Like the Power Rangers were made of the Super Sentai series, and they took basically the costume action parts and added American actors for the stories and stuff like that. I'm not an expert on this. If I got something wrong, I'm very, very sorry. But anyway, so he worked on basically every franchise in existence. Basically the big three, Kamen Rider, Ultraman, and Super Sentai, and some other stuff as well. But he keeps doing his own movies every now and then. Like 2 years ago, there was a Ninja vs. Shark, which was surprisingly good, or a movie called Travelers, which I enjoyed very much. I think his most famous non-tokusatsu movie would be Girl's Blood, which is pretty amazing and has a lot of his trademarks. So let me explain what my image of a Koichi Sakamoto movie is. Very often the story is very complicated and convoluted, which probably comes from all these tokusatsu things that just have too many characters and there's so much stuff going on. It's hard to follow anyway by default, as in he's a very, very horny man. So if he has a chance to show some undressed legs or something, he will do that. And yeah, that's what he enjoys. And then there's of course a lot of very, very well done action because he's very good at that. I would say he's probably one of the most underrated action guys in Japan. Of course, among tokusatsu fans, it's not underrated at all. But in general, mainstream cinema, I would say he's a bit underrated. Even though he did quite mainstream movies like the Mob Psycho 100 live action movie and the Bungo Stray Dogs live action movie. I don't know if those were popular or not, but yeah, sometimes he does a little bit bigger stuff. So anyway, another thing that happens quite a lot with the tokusatsu movies he does, that he does a lot of fights without the suits, because yeah, he seemingly likes that a lot. And yeah, usually I watch a lot of his tokusatsu movies of shows that I haven't watched, and there will be some today as well. And usually I don't really care if I know the show or not, because first, the movies are often not so connected to the main story of the actual show. There's some, of course, like the characters are the same and some other connections, but it's usually quite easy to follow the story, even if you don't know the story, and even if there are like a million characters, it's still mostly kids shows, so they're not so complicated, not so extremely deep that you can't get the idea of who they are and what kind of roles they fulfill in the story. So it's usually not so hard to enjoy them. So I just feel like, okay, I want to watch a Kamen Rider movie. I just pick one and I watch it, and I'm usually more or less well entertained. And yeah, that's very often I just check, oh, Sakamoto has done this, I watch this, and it's a lot of fun. So that just in advance about him and why I watch these movies, even though I sometimes don't know the shows. And let's start with something where I actually watched the show, and that's Kamen Rider Geyser, a spin-off prequel movie for Kamen Rider Geats. And I actually watched Geats, and I think it's a very good, fun show. And in this world of Kamen Rider Geats, you have like a tournament, and the winner of the tournament is gets his wish fulfilled. Like, he can change the world to fulfill his or her desires. And yeah, the producer of this show is a character called Niramu, played by Ryo Kitamura. Yeah, he gets a backstory here, and we have some characters from the show, like what's he called in the show? Zin is Fuku Suzuki, one of the few actors here who actually has a career outside of tokusatsu. Like, a lot of the actors in these movies or shows haven't done that much else, or they're a little bit trapped in these franchises. So yeah, he did some stuff like, for example, mixed doubles or Zoki, so that's already pretty cool. And I will mention one more actress here. That's Kokoro Aoshima, who hasn't done much else besides especially Kamen Rider Geats, but she was, for example, in the Yin Yang Master Zero, which was a good movie, and she will come back later today in this episode with a very different role. And I need to move my camera a little bit because it looks a little bit dangerous. I don't want it to fall down, so forgive me that you're coming a little bit closer and closer and closer. And here we are back. And anyway, so we get the backstory, how this producer starts his new job, and it's really not exciting, sorry to say. I don't really need to talk much about the story. He just gets the job. The guy who had the job before gets angry and fights him, and there are like two nice aspects to it. First, the action is of course really nice, and as in Geats, they have some crazy camera stuff going on. Like in the show, they used a lot of drone shots or maybe like GoPros or something like that, action cams, to go straight into the action and give you very weird angles and perspectives, and it feels very dynamic and fun, and they do stuff like that here as well, so that's of course very good. And the villain, when he transforms, has the colors, and the whole outfit is a little bit similar to the original Kamen Rider, so that's a nice touch. But overall, it's a prequel. I don't know why people make prequels, because prequels are by default boring, at least if you actually want to tell the backstory of a character, because you already know where they go. You don't want to see, someone always said, like, you don't want to see I don't know, Bruce Wayne just being Bruce Wayne for 2 hours and then at the end just become Batman, because that's insanely boring. Nobody wants, and people come to see Batman, not Bruce Wayne. So why would you do that? And that's the same here. And the thing is, if you introduce new characters, you know they have to get rid of them by the end, because they're not in the main show, so, or in the sequels, so they have to get rid of them. So it's just boring. The only kind of prequel that I understand, or I actually like, is like Indiana Jones 2, because nobody really cares, or I guess many people still don't know that it's actually a prequel, because it's just the fully formed character who goes on a different adventure that's just by accident set before the original movie, and it doesn't really matter. But stuff like this is just, they don't really use the setting, that's the Sengoku period. So yeah, there's like one samurai dude who gets killed, and that's it. Yeah, it's not a, it's fine. It's like the most generic Kamen Rider movie you can imagine, one of the worst I have seen. So still watchable and fine, but yeah, it's just more for the really, really hardcore fans who feel, oh my god, I need to know every bit of detail about my favorite side character, and that's a little bit boring. Something that's much more fun is a Space Squad, a Space Sheriff Gavan versus Tokusou Sentai Dekaranger. And the two franchises coming together. One is the Metal Hero franchise, that's where the Space Sheriff Gavan comes from. And they tried to reboot that franchise with a couple of movies, and then they made a couple of spin-off, like crossover movies with especially the Dekaranger. And I like these spin-off, these sequel, reboot, whatever, I don't know, movies here. I watched 2 out of 3. The other 2 would be the first one is a Girls in Trouble Space Squad episode 0, which I think is maybe the best. I haven't seen the last one yet, but usually, yeah, I think this one is maybe better, because it's very focused on one very small story. It's like a bunch of women in a prison, and they have like a time loop thing going on, and they need to find a way out. And it's very much focused on this without much transformation stuff that happens at the end. Of course, it needs to, but yeah, this is already crossover with said Dekarangers, or at least 2 of them, and it's very horny but very good and very entertaining, and it's very short. It's only 55 minutes. And then there's a sequel, because at the end of this Space Squad Dekaranger thingy, Gavan gets sent on a bigger mission to create his whole own team and stuff. And I guess they will pick up that here with Uchu Sentai Q-Ranger versus Space Squad. So it's a crossover between the Space Squad and the Uchu Sentai Q-Ranger, which I haven't seen, and I haven't seen this movie yet. I will eventually watch it, but yeah, let's see how that turns out. But yeah, the Gavan Dekaranger crossover movie is good fun. It's a solid thing. Gavan's partner gets potentially killed in a mission, and he wants to solve the case, and he gets a hint that one of the Dekaranger is an Esper and might be able to help him investigate this case. So he gets her out of a wedding, and they go on an adventure to find out what actually happened with his partner. And it's good, solid fun. There's a lot of good action. The focus is more on Gavan, which is fine. He's played by Yuma Ishigaki. Let's see, he has mostly done not even that much tokusatsu. He was in a Battle Royale 2, 30 Assassins, and the Azumi movie. So a little bit stuff that some people in the West actually have seen. So he has done some good fun stuff. But yeah. Anyway, so he is the main character here. The others are more like support, and we have goofy dog humans. We have some what is it called? A diaper commercial music and stuff like that. It's just a good, solid, doesn't do anything wrong, but nothing really stands out movie. That's why I think the prequel movie here, The Girls in Trouble, is better because it's more unique among all the like tokusatsu movies. This is pretty much what you would expect, and it's fine, and it's good. It's fun, but nothing special. More special. Ninja Sentai Kakuranger Part 3, The Fights of Middle Age. I haven't seen any Ninja Sentai Kakuranger, but this is a lot of fun, and the good thing is this is completely separated from the show. I mean, not completely, but you can just enjoy it. You get enough explanation from about the show to understand the story. It's set 30 years after the events of the Kakuranger show, and of course in the original they are ninjas and they fight evil yokai, so demons, and one of them is played by Kenichi Endo of all people, who is kind of a demon king or something, and anyway, he's back, and some new breed of internet-born yokai, because now the internet is the root of all evil, and I can't disagree with that. It sounds a lot like old people complaining about the young generation, but yeah, if you want to look for really evil, nasty stuff, go on the internet. Hi, I'm evil. It's hilarious, and it's good stuff because the cast, they're all like around 50 now, and their backs ache a little bit, and they have some trouble. It's like nice, simple old people comedy. Shows a little bit what these shows are, who these shows are actually made for, because I guess the main audience is maybe not kids. Every time I go to the cinema to watch a tokusatsu movie, usually they are just like middle-aged or old men watching the stuff. Or the cliche is horny housewives who fall in love with the male characters, and that's another stereotype. But usually I guess because these shows have been running for so long, they have gathered so many fans over the years who just keep watching, and I guess that's the actual main reason. Yeah, some people just need some simple, heartwarming entertainment in their life. Anyway, so here the evil comes from the internet, and some new yokai are born, and somehow Kenichi Endo is back reprising. doing his old role again, wearing the same trashy costume, and it's hilarious. He just looks so amazing in his costume here. It's wonderful. I had a lot of fun. It's really simple, stupid, and silly, and it's good, and I enjoyed it very much. By the way, the only one who among this team of ninjas who is in top shape is Kane Kosugi. I'm always confused by his name because I would think he's Japanese, so his name must be Kane. But no, it's actually Kane. Kane Takeshi Kosugi, is German. Sorry. Yeah, that's his name. And yeah, he did a lot of like English language stuff as well. He was in Dead or Alive or Revenge of the Ninja 2, Black Eagle with Jean-Claude Van Damme and all the stuff. And he was in Godzilla Final Wars and in War with Jet Li and Jason Statham, and did a Jackie Chan movie as well. That's Who Am I? So he's, of course, in top shape compared to his peers who are like more like, yeah, but it's a good fun movie. It's short, it's enjoyable. And even shorter and more enjoyable is Ohsama Sentai King-Ohger in space. In space is very important because we're always in space. Earth is in space. Think about that. Yeah, I've seen some episodes of the show. I've watched the movies in the theater, so I know roughly the characters, but this doesn't really matter. You have the main cast who all went on their own journeys to figure out stuff. And of course, it all comes back together when the king's crown is stolen and it becomes a prize at an illegal fight tournament like Bloodsport. And it's really weird. So they all go there for some reason, and some of them join the tournament, and they fight, and we have this concept of like a Bloodsport type movie condensed into 17 minutes. The star of the show is Rintaro Kawana, who hasn't done much else besides the King-Ohger stuff, but for one fight he takes off his shirt, you see his super muscular body, and he just does the best fight in the whole very short movie. But yeah, the whole thing is just an excuse to show some fights. In between, hostage gets saved, and some other stuff happens that you would usually, like, you would expand this whole thing to 2 hours or whatever to show some full fights and the whole stories and the backstories and why do they do this and this and that. They just don't give it, and they condense everything into 17 minutes. It's super weird, super fast. Stuff happens, and it's just the only thing I can complain about this movie is that it's too short, because it's all so good and fun and just wow. Yeah, it's like, give me more of this. Give me a Koichi Sakamoto Kumite movie. Yeah, give me that. You can make it tokusatsu, just put all the franchises together and make everyone fight. Yeah, I don't care, but no suits, please. Just make them all fight, directed by Sakamoto, and a big Kumite movie, please. Thank you. Yeah, that's for our little Sakamoto special today. I will get back to some other weird, especially horny movies in a minute, but for you it will maybe take a day or two, or maybe a little bit longer until you can enjoy that. Or maybe you already enjoyed it and this one is, I have no idea what I'm doing. Anyways, and here we are back with the Tatsujin Warriors. Maybe this is the better image. Yeah. Directed by Mr. Koichi Sakamoto. We don't really need to talk about the cast so much, because most of them aren't actors. We have Hoshimi Asai, who was in Versus, and in the Last Bronx movie, which looks really fun. But here, she's as a producer and main actress. For other things, she's more for the action stuff, choreography, whatever. Did a lot of theater and stuff. But this is one of her rare appearances in movies. She did one before that she produced as well. So seemingly she wants to get herself a little bit into the movie business, and that's good. And with Ryuma Hashido, who was at least in Rurouni Kenshin and Shogun as Shogun's Ninja, the new one, same, Mr. Sakamoto. And we have Hideyoshi Iwata, who did a lot of Ultraman and Ninja Shark, or Sakamoto. We have Kanon Miyahara, who I know mostly from Kamen Rider Gotchard, where she impressed with her excessive six-pack and her fighting skills, and she's really cool. She was in Ninja vs. Shark or Black Fox or Tag or some other stuff. Very good to see her back. And we have Seiji Takaiwa, who was, for example, in Lady Battle Cop. Lady Battle Cop is great. Watch that. But more recently, he was in A Good Morning Sleeping Lion. I think that's another Sakamoto movie. Anyway, so most of the other people in this movie, we have one more. We have Hayate Masao, who was, for example, in Karate Kill or Danger Dolls, or he directed the wonderful First Mission, which needs to be released in the West. Why can't we have this movie in the West? It's wonderful. And the other people we don't really need to talk about because they're not actors, but they're more like martial artists who are YouTubers. Yeah, so I knew one of them. That's the coolest one in the movie. Let's see if we can find him here. Oh, here. This guy. That's the only one I knew before. Is a like Aikido master. Does a lot of Aikido stuff on his YouTube channel. And sometimes he did something with a wrestler who appears in this movie as well. And I think he was the coolest character in this movie. But not so important. Like I said, the people, the story, it's a pretty low budget film. That's where Koichi Sakamoto comes into play, because he can do great stuff with relatively low budget. The story is basically a typical kung fu movie story. Like we have a city and there's a gang who are martial artists, and they challenge all the martial artists in the town to take over the town and be the greatest bad boys around. And on the other side, we have this man, not so young anymore, not the greatest fighter around, and his daughter, who try to make a like tokusatsu stage show for an old hero from TV, and that just doesn't go very well. And someday a lady shows up who's like, oh my god, I love this show too. Let's do something. I have connections to this what is it, like an academy for acting and dancing and stuff, which is a real thing, and I think she works there. So she's a producer, she puts in her stuff. Anyway, so of course this has to clash at some point. The evil guys have some reason to attack the others and want some revenge, because revenging is good. Stuff happens. It's a very basic story. You've seen it a million times before. There's nothing very exciting there. There's no big twist that you wouldn't see coming from a million miles away. You look at the poster, yeah. The whole selling point in the trailer too is like you have this huge list of fighting styles that will appear in this movie. You have like karate, you have capoeira, you have sumo, you have everything. And that's the big thing. And then all these YouTube martial artists come in there because each of them has their own style, and will celebrate it and show you how great it is. And that works really well. It's very fun. It's very entertaining. The acting is not so great, but at least because they are YouTubers, I would guess they have some experience to present themselves, to say what they have to say, to deliver some lines and very basic emotions maybe. So there's nothing wrong with them casting them. They do a very solid job, and probably it's better to have YouTubers than people who have never stood in front of a camera. So good point, very nice, very fun. There's nothing really wrong with this movie, just some very minor issues. The action is filmed in a way which is very much Sakamoto. Is very dynamic, pretty close to the fighters, pretty handheld, and not exactly shaky, but that's what I mean with dynamic. Yeah, so it's pretty close. You feel like you're near the action, if not in the action. And it's not very polished. It's very rough and direct. So if you like that, you will love it. I would have preferred some more elegant shots, some more posing. Like the Aikido guy has some really cool moments in his last fight where you feel like, okay, I would have preferred more of that than the other stuff where he has just this cool, like, proper lighting and proper pose and stuff. It just looks more impressive. It looks all a little bit understating, I guess is a good word here. So they don't try to show off. I mean, in a way, yeah, they try because they just want to show their fighting skills, but they don't try to present it in a hyper stylized way, which I would have wanted a little bit more of the maybe tokusatsu aesthetic with cool poses and stuff. It's, minor complaint. Another problem, a thing, because of the budget, some stuff just looks like a TV show, or a very cheap TV show, or like home video. Like when they're in this academy practicing with children, it could just be me with my phone taking a video of people practicing stuff. But I mean, for what it wants to achieve, it's totally okay. It's not about that so much. It's no big deal, but yeah, some minor complaints, I guess, mostly about because of the budget, and it's no problem. If you come for the action, you will get plenty of it. It's most of the time just fight, and a little bit more fighting. So that's very good. Like I said, the story is so basic and simple and not the point. The fun thing is, this whole thing is structured and built and made like tokusatsu. Just that they don't wear suits, and their superpower is martial arts. Like in the beginning, when the bad guys start attacking, for example, there's a office where suddenly one office worker goes into his fighting pose and then starts fighting. And oh my god, he just transformed into a superhero and he will fight evil. And that's really cool. And the whole way to tell the story and the whole structure and everything is 100% like, I don't know, Kamen Rider or Ultraman. It's just the same, and it works really well. So if you like that kind of stuff, you will be very happy here. The same with maybe the heroes having some dark things in their past and need redemption, or just the overall sincerity. Like there's nothing ironic about this. They're not making fun of anything. And there are funny moments, like the Aikido guy usually wears a lab coat and eats potato chips and has like bad hair, but fights like crazy. So that's really funny. But it's all like very unironic, and I like that kind of stuff. No, the big drama, very, very big drama, tear-jerking and stuff. But that's okay. It's really, really honest, and they want to do that. It feels like this movie for little children, and that's totally fine. If you enjoy that kind of stuff, you will love it. The only funny thing is that the protagonist is a middle-aged woman. So, yeah, cool. Many people complain that in Kamen Rider you never get a like female main rider. Here you get it basically, even though she doesn't wear a suit, but she's really good at fighting. Who would have guessed? No, it's just interesting take on tokusatsu. I think many people, right? If you have a Sakamoto Kamen Rider episode or something, they're like, oh my god, he does so much stuff without the suits, because probably he would prefer to do this. It's just funny and good and really nice. So I enjoyed this movie a lot for what it is. If you expect something very glossy, polished, high budget, this is not for you. If you just come to see good action in a almost ridiculously serious story, like completely unironic, completely like everything is sincere, then you're right here. If you like tokusatsu storytelling, you're right here. If you like a lot of fighting, you're completely right here. It's a wonderful movie. There's just not that much more to say about it, and that's why I will stop here. But if you have any chance to watch it, it's really cool. I like it, you should like it, and with that, let's stop. Bye!